Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Home Alone, directed by Chris Columbus from 1990. As yes, we are back once again ready to discuss another Christmas film on the channel, this time around Home Alone, and this is one that I cannot wait to discuss today. There will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first and then come back to this video, and we can go from there. We can talk about this film in the comments, and of course, celebrate Christmas through cinema. So yeah, what I said, let's discuss my thoughts on this film, and yeah, I absolutely love this film. We'll get straight into it. It's one of my favourite Christmas films of all time, and it's the one that just, for me, makes Christmas. Watching this film around the time, and if it's a few days before, at the beginning of the month, or Christmas Eve even, it doesn't matter. All just around this time, it's just great, and it elevates, for me, the Christmas period, and it makes it just a bit more special for me watching this film. And yeah, I just love this film so much, and I've seen it so many times over the years throughout my life, and it's just such a magical film, this, and by the time the end credits kind of roll, it's just something that's brought me laughter, tears, excitement, and I think there's so much fun in the final act with the whole slapstick sequences there of the traps and all this kind of stuff, and tying together as well, arcs that have been set up in the film, and coming to such a emotional ending there with, of course, Marley and I think, and Kevin. That kind of dynamic that's and that bond that's formed, and also just the outcome of Marley's arc, just the way it kind of ends with that, really. It's just absolutely stunning, this film, and not only do I think it is one of the greatest, kind of Christmas films for me, it is one of the best films of all time, actually, and I think this is, yeah, Chris Columbus just at its best in many ways, and obviously John Hughes writing this film, and John Williams scoring this film, so you've got all this kind of talent here, and John Williams with the score here is one of my favourite scores of all time as well, and just absolutely stunning. The epic nature to it, just the fun nature of the score, and also the emotional kind of spiritual moments that's used so perfectly throughout the film, and I just think this film is one of the best films ever made. But yeah, as we know, we start off with Kevin McAllister, and we have obviously the family, the cousins as well involved there. All kind of the night before they're going to go away, on holiday around the Christmas period, and yeah, of course, they're kind of gearing up for this. They're getting pizza delivered and all this kind of stuff. And I just think this opening sets up everything so perfectly, even just with Joe Pesci as well. Harry, playing Harry, of course, one of the main villains of the film, this burglar, and he's kind of, as we know, kind of pretends to be a cop there, just giving families precautions for the kind of Christmas period, but he's actually inspecting the houses, and just the way he's set up in a funny way as well, the gold tooth as well, and the kind of sparkle there, and just him being seen by Kevin there, and it kind of sets everything up, and obviously you've got the family, the bickering, Buzz as well, played by Kevin Ratray. He is great in this film, one of the best characters, and obviously appears mainly at the beginning of the film, and then obviously we see the rest of the family, as we know, just little bits throughout, kind of going back to them, and in the end, they do reunite with Kevin, but the first bits, we're kind of setting up the characters, and we have the interactions with Buzz and Kevin there, and the kind of bickering, of course, they're brothers, and kind of teases Kevin all the time, and they wind each other up. We've got the great moment as well, and the characters, the three of them, kind of go to the window, and they see old man Marley, as they say, and Marley's just outside, obviously, and Buzz recounts this kind of made up kind of story about Marley, and this kind of a myth about him, and it's just a great way to set up the film. Mysterious kind of character there, and obviously Kevin and the characters are kind of scared, and they kind of draw the curtains there. They kind of run out of the way when Marley looks up, and obviously you would see how Kevin at first has this kind of opinion, this image obviously of Marley being told all this stuff. He's only 8 as well, and just kind of listens to that, and then sees Marley obviously, and just the way he looks up at the window there. So that's a great way to set the film up, and just as well the pizza, and just them all having the pizza there, and Kevin the reactions, of course, to seeing there's no cheese pizza, the one that he likes, and just the disaster that kind of goes from there when he kind of knocks into Buzz, all the coke, and all this, and the drinks, and just everything goes everywhere, and it gets all the characters, including Frank, kind of messy there, and his reaction was really too far, obviously, but yeah, and just all the characters kind of being annoyed at Kevin, and then, as we know, he goes up to the room and to the attic, and just kind of says, something that obviously he doesn't mean, but in the moment he just kind of says it, and he says, doesn't want to see any of the family again, and obviously Catherine O'Hara in this film, the mother, of course, Kate, she plays, and she is so great in this film, and obviously she says, I hope you don't mean that, kind of thing, and it all kind of goes from there when they actually do leave Kevin behind for a mix-up, of course, with the counting of the heads in particular the next morning, and obviously because they're in a rush because of the storm and all this, kind of cutting the lines and the electricity, and the alarm obviously stopped, and it all kind of goes from there when they rush to the airport and they leave Kevin behind, and he wakes up home alone, and that's the rest of the film. Obviously, at one point, as we know, Kate trying to get back to Kevin, and obviously at one point the characters split up. We've got Kate on her own, and the rest of the family kind of all together as well, all trying to get back to Kevin, for Christmas, and I think it's just a great kind of setup, and the way things escalate and progress throughout the film. We've got all these characters trying to get back to Kevin, and Kevin eventually trying to stop these burglars. He hears about all this, Harry and Marv. Obviously, Joe Pesci, as we've mentioned, playing Harry, and Marv being played by Daniel Stern in this film. And this kind of double act here, these kind of burglars, but it's done in such a comedic way. And for the final act, we've got that great, legendary slapstick, kind of in the house and around the house, obviously with Kevin and the traps. And I think that is just so masterful, that kind of sequence there. And I think just the setup though, we kind of see Harry and Marv going about the houses, and then kind of gradually learning, obviously, that Kevin is actually home alone, and they can try to burgle this house, because no one else is there. And I just love the way in which Kevin, is really clever, and he kind of tries to pretend that obviously other people are in, and even though Harry and Marv are kind of thinking at first no one's in and all this kind of stuff, and the family's away, Kevin keeps trying to bounce back with the whole kind of uses that film there, pretending that people are actually in, and at one point scares Marv. That's so funny there, and he says about snakes, and thinking it's actually a hit going down, and it's just hilarious stuff, and just the genius way in which this is written, and just the way it's put together, the editing to this, and just Kevin McAllister, hit this character, a unique character, and one that is so kind of clever in what he's doing, kind of tricking these burglars at first, and then when things, really they catch on and things get out of control. Obviously, they are, attempting to kind of rob this house in the final act. Kevin, he can't really do any more of trying to fool them, so he sets up all these traps, and he kind of gets everything prepared for them, and because if they do eventually come into the house, he's prepared, and he's got all these things that kind of stop the burglars, and these villains, and it's just priceless the way that final act comes about, and it all kind of goes down there with kind of the amazing sequences there with the slapstick, and just the way all these traps have been set, and just the fire, the kind of the cars on the floor, the toys, all the kind of stuff with kind of feathers, everything, the iron, and it's just one of the funniest final acts to a film that I've ever seen. And I think before that though, the way things kind of progress in the middle of the film, we've got all these great moments when, of course, Kevin is kind of going around shopping, and got these kind of just charming, innocent moments, peaceful moments when he's going shopping, and he's just kind of tending to the house, the fabric softener, all this kind of putting the washing on, and the tumble dryer there, and it's just really funny, the charming way. And also just at first Kevin, is really happy about his family kind of not being here, and he thinks, obviously in a kid mindset, that he's kind of made them disappear through what he said, that he wishes he never saw them again. And then after a while of him kind of going around, kind of having fun, and just eating ice cream, Buzz's room, he wrecks the room obviously, and he takes all his money as well, and just so funny there. And I just think after all this, it kind of starts to wear off this initial effect, and then he does obviously naturally start to miss his family, and I think the way that's done, it just kind of shows the true meaning of Christmas and family all in one. And we obviously this kid who's frustrated with his family, he thinks he's not being listened to and all this, and sick of the way he's kind of treated, he feels by his family, but deep down obviously he does love his family, and he does miss them, and it just shows the true meaning of Christmas, the Christmas spirit in this film. And I think it's portrayed so well in such a natural way, realistic way, how a kid would react to a situation like this, and then his initial reaction, also afterwards, that kind of he obviously misses his family, and he's upset, and just the way in which that's done in the middle of the film in particular, and then how it kind of feeds into the final act where finally in the end Kate does kind of come back, and he's reunited with his family in the final moments, and at the same time Marley as well is in those final moments as well. They're both these characters reunited with their families for different reasons obviously, but the middle of the film I think is when it really starts to get really emotional for me. And I think just when Kevin's going around at night time, and he looks in the windows, and sees all those families obviously just kind of enjoying the Christmas period, all kind of gathering, of course, and that music kicks in there. it's just unbelievable stuff. And the music in this film, as I said, it's just one of the best scores really of all time for me. And once again, John Williams, just my absolute favourite composer. And this score to the film is just unbelievable. And I think the way it's used, especially in these moments, just Kevin looking in and just a silent scene there. We have the music and we just have the reaction shots there. It's just such a pure piece of cinema there. And then kind of leading shortly after that, to the church scene, which for me is one of the best parts of the film. And I think just seeing obviously Marley in this film, he kind of once again he kind of sees Kevin after a series of encounters, including the shop, which was really funny as well. Kind of shoplifter, and the policeman chases Kevin. That's just hilarious stuff, and all that kind of moments there. And the interactions, once again, we see kind of Marley and kind of looks at Kevin. They don't speak, but in the church sequence, they do finally actually interact properly, and kind of finally speaks to Kevin, and Kevin actually is at a point there where he was scared initially again when Marley come up to him, but just I think the way in which he's at this point where he's willing to kind of listen perhaps, and obviously Marley finally kind of says hi to Kevin basically, and they sit down to see where we learn finally about Marley and the truth behind him, and just hearing about how him and his son had this argument and a series of problems, and they don't really speak anymore, so he's not allowed to see his grandkid, and this is so sad at first, and obviously then we have this sense of hope coming through, and maybe the Christmas spirit, but also just in general the fact that kind of family is important, and I think the way that Kevin, this kid, kind of just allows this man to kind of realise that he should just kind of reach out to his son and maybe apologise, make up, and all this kind of stuff, make amends, and just why not kind of just go for it. And it's just so well done, this so human and kind of natural, the exchange of dialogue here, and I think Robert Blossom in this film is absolutely masterful, and I think his performance here of Marley is just absolutely unbelievable. And it's just kind of it's so magical, this scene here. It's so hopeful, and it's just one of the best parts of the film. It's such a great scene here, so much rolled into this, and it's the only kind of real sequence where we have this actual dialogue between Marley and Kevin. Obviously Macaulay Culkin in this film is just unbelievable. It's one of the best performances really, and I think just seeing the way he kind of has this chemistry with obviously Robert Blossom, and it's so felt this, and I think his performance here, Kevin is a character who's obviously kind of reacting to his family, he's kind of in a frustrated way, and obviously he's also someone who's quite kind of just having fun obviously throughout the film, and then someone who's really kind of installs this really nice message in Marley. And I just think the chemistry between Robert Blossom and of course Macaulay Culkin in this film is just so great, even though it's this one main sequence here in this church where they actually kind of talk properly in the film. I think it's so felt, and it's just a pivotal sequence to the film, and obviously a little bit talking at the end there, but not really. It's mainly this one sequence in the church, and obviously the use of music there as well. It's just a kind of heavenly sequence here, so spiritual, and I just think, as I say, the chemistry here and just the performance from Macaulay Culkin in this film obviously is absolutely legendary, and it's just so great in this film, in the kind of funny parts, in the kind of epic moments where he kind of sledges out the door and all this kind of stuff, and also just the emotional moments. It's just such a great performance, and I think the chemistry between him and everyone in the film is just perfect, and I think the casting to the film is just spot on, and Robert Blossom in this film is just such a kind of pivotal character, as I say, and the way he kind of adds this whole kind of weight, and he kind of bridges this, mirrors obviously Macaulay Culkin's character of Kevin, two characters that are very different, obviously, kind of not with their family at Christmas, at this point for different reasons, and they kind of both, have this universal feeling of, the family's important, and, obviously in the end, Marley's reunited with his family, and also Kevin is, all in that one kind of final sequence there, kind of both at the same time. It's happening there for Christmas, and I think it's just perfect the way it comes together there. But obviously with Joe Pesci and of course Daniel Stern in the film Harry and Marv, this is just something else. I think the way in which it's set up, obviously the comedy between them, the kind of relationship, the dynamic between obviously Harry and Marv in the film is just legendary, and I think all the parts of it, the kind of following as well, Kevin down the street, and they're kind of pretending when he looks around to just be minding their own business, and just the kind of way in which they say how much they want to get into the house, and in the final act, this is where it all kind of goes down, as I say. we've got the kind of moments where we've had the church scene, and then Kevin, realizes the time and runs back to the house. Epic moment there, and of course gets the traps all ready here. And then at 9 o'clock, when he's about to eat his mac and cheese, unfortunately, something as a kid especially, always bothered me the way that he doesn't actually get to eat at all any of this dinner here, and he just leaves it. When it's steaming, of course, it's just been made, and it just kind of leaves the entire meal here, even though he was really looking forward to it. And then, of course, Harry and Marv come to the house, and this is when they do, obviously, as we know, break into the house, and all the traps that are being set by Kevin around and in the house throughout, it's just, wow. It's one of the most satisfying kind of final acts to a film, and just the way in which we have, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as well, their reactions to everything that happens, in this final act, all of the traps. It feels like it's actually happening, but also in a fantastical way. Obviously, it's just great slapstick. That's the thing, and it's kind of elevated comedy, and the way it's done is this kind of bombastic, fantastical way, but it's something that is so felt as well. It's really so physical. This, and all of the kind of the way in which they react to this physically and emotionally to the traps, and I think just the performances here is just so great. I love this final act so much with the comedy, because it's just full on, kind of crazy slapstick, and it's done so well. And for me, as people would know probably on the channel that watch my channel, slapstick is my favourite type of comedy, and I think when you've got legendary slapstick like this, and it's kind of tied together and it's been built up, over the film, it's just so satisfying and all this kind of stuff. I think it's just legendary, and it can't really be topped, in terms of comedy. And I think it's just so great the way it's done. It goes on for 15, 20 minutes of just them going through, getting chucked around, the iron on the head of Marv, and just the kind of blowtorch there as well, and the handle on the doorknob, and just the moments when they keep falling back as well at first with the ice, and when they finally make it into the house, they think they're safe, and it kind of gets even worse. And Joe Pesci, it's just everything that he goes through in this kind of final act, it's just priceless. And just the way in which throughout you've got Kevin kind of teasing them and saying you're thirsty for more and all this. They go up to the top of the house, obviously, and you've got the tree house as well, that great moment there. And it's just the kind of dumb nature of these burglars. I think it's just perfection for me. And maybe the funniest part, of this sequence, the slapstick, I think, is the kind of the pet tarantula, of course. Buzz, it's obviously been teased beforehand, in the first act, the fact that he's got this spider, this tarantula, of course, and then when it kind of escapes, because Kevin's kind of trashed the room, and then it's kind of on the staircase there, and Kevin, just in that moment, he kind of uses it. He picks it up, and he puts it obviously on Marv's face, and just the reaction there is always something that I think is probably the funniest part, of the reactions from the two of them, and just the scream, something that he kind of hesitates at first, and he builds it up, and just when he does scream, it's so kind of high pitched, and it's just so funny there. It's just hilarious, and it gets me every time, it probably more than any other part, in this sequence, and it's just so funny, and what a classic sequence. And then they get kind of caught, of course, and you have the great moment as well when kind of Marley is the one that saved Kevin there from what they're about to do to him, and of course knocks them out, kind of knocks them onto the ground, and the shovel, just the way in which all the kind of the details are used in the film, the spider obviously, and just the way in which the wet bandits, as they're called, they have this trademark that kind of Marv mainly leaves the taps running, of course, just the kind of dumb nature of these two of them, and just the way in which they're taken away, and that final moment we have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas being played there, and obviously we've got Harry particularly looking round out the window, and seeing Kevin, and that last kind of glance there, between the two of them. It's just what a way to kind of end this kind of hero-villain dynamic there, and it's just a classic sequence. And at the end, to top it all off, you've got that kind of magical set of sequences there, where we've got the snow as well on Christmas Day, and we've got kind of Kevin looking around, seeing Kate, Catherine O'Hara, and just that moment there is so warm and magical. It brings me to tears every time, and just seeing this. And I think after that, obviously the family being reunited, the reactions, and just the dialogue as well, between all of them, Buzz and Kevin, kind of a mark of respect there, from Buzz, and obviously the very last moment after the kind of reuniting is Buzz kind of shouting and saying, "What have you done to my room?" and all this. But that's hilarious. But just the way in which that's done, the comedy and the charm, but also yeah, these magical moments where, of course, Kevin, kind of reunites with the family, but also then goes to the window, and the way the music, the score picks up there, it's just unbelievable. And obviously, he looks out the window, sees Marty, and in that moment there, wow, kind of reuniting, embracing his family there, and just, while he's hugging them, he looks up, of course, and he just that great reaction there, of course, from Marley, and he looks up and he waves at Kevin, and Kevin waves back, and just that moment there with the use of music, the editing, and just the placement within the film, the way it ends on this, it's just one of my favourite endings to a film ever, and it's just unbelievable. It's magical stuff, and just again brings me to tears. It's really such an emotional moment there, such a moving part of the film, and just a perfect way to end it, and obviously the slight humour there afterwards, leading into the credits. And what a film this is. From the start, where we have the setup, all the way to the final shots, this film is for me an absolute masterpiece, and it's a perfect Christmas film, and it's the one that just I've seen so many times, and it's the one that I watch around Christmas, and it does, as I say, make Christmas even more special. And yeah, this film just has everything. I love it so much. Just all of the side characters as well. John Candy, his appearance was just amazing, magical stuff, and as well, just all of the kind of comedy at first of all the family there. Fuller as well, kind of Kieran Culkin playing Fuller there, and that's just hilarious. And just the way, as I say, it kind of all kind of comes together in the end, and brings together all of the characters. Everyone has a purpose, in this film, and just all of the side characters, even just slight appearances from them. It's always so memorable. All of their kind of moments in the film. It's iconic. It just kind of stands out. Kind of so memorable. Even characters that never, for example, appear again in the film. Just when Kevin's out, shopping. It's so kind of well done, and memorable, and just magical. It makes for this. It all kind of adds to this experience, and makes this film even better. You've got so many details in this film, and just the whole narrative of this, the way it flows, and the way it kind of is set up, and it kind of culminates in the end, and the emotion that's felt, and the entire film, how fun it is, and just magical it is, and warm and nostalgic it is. I think this one truly is one of my favourites. So yeah, my rating for this film is 100% plus tier 3. And obviously, yeah, extremely high score for me. This is definitely one of my favourite films, and yeah, it's just a magical film from start to finish, and it's the one that, as I say, it's one of my favourite Christmas films, and this is a real masterpiece for me, and it means so much to me, and it's just the one that I always look forward to rewatching around the Christmas period, and yeah, it's a magical film. It's so well directed, this film, and so well written and acted. It's just got everything, as I say, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite films, and certainly one of my favourite, one of my very, very favourite Christmas films to watch. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the film. What do you think on this? It'd be really great to hear in the comments your thoughts on this film, your personal experience with this over the years, and just how does it compare for you to different Christmas films? And yeah, let's just talk all this stuff in the comments, and celebrate Christmas through cinema. So yeah, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.